Welcome to Archiversity online classes. In this lecture, I am going to explain you how to calculate multinomial logistic regression using IBM SPSS. I'll also explain you the concept of multinomial logistic regression, the procedure to run multinomial logistic regression in IBM SPSS, and finally, I'll also interpret the output of IBM SPSS related to multinomial logistic regression. Multinomial logistic regression is a simple extension of binary logistic regression. So in case of a binary logistic regression, your dependent variable have only two categories, that is yes, no, or pass, fail likewise. But whereas in case of a multinomial logistic regression, your dependent variable will have more than two categories. Suppose you have a dependent variable, this can have three categories, like let us say you have an account is, we have a no, then you may have a maybe, or you can have a different categories of respondents. Likewise, like a dependent variable, then you have four different categories in one dependent variable. In such scenario, we need to use multiple or a multinomial logistic regression. So multinomial logistic regression is used to predict categorical placement in or a probability of category membership on a dependent variable based on multiple independent variables. So when you're saying that multiple independent variables, you may have two or more independent variables, like say independent variable 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, there is a 5 and 6 likewise. And these independent variables can be measured on any, in the sense scale, like you may have a continuous scale, ratio scale, or rank order scale, or nominal scale. Now the independence variables can be either a dichotomous, that is a binary, or a continuous scale, that is interval or a ratio scale. Next is that multinomial logistic regression does not necessitate careful consideration of a sample size and examination of outlying cases. So sample size is not a factor at all, and examination of outlying cases or outliers is also not a assumption of a multinomial logistic regression. Like other data analysis procedures, initial data analysis should be thorough and include careful univariate, bivariate and multivariate assessment. Before going for a multinomial regression, you need to verify each individual variable, that is independent variables, then bivariate, relation between two independent variables, and a multivariate, relation between three or more independent variables need to be thoroughly done before running a multinomial logistic regression. Now specifically, you need to check for multicollinearity, should be evaluated with simple correlations among the independent variables. So while running for a multinomial logistic regression also, multicollinearity should not create any problem. So you have to diagnose for a multicollinearity, then only need to proceed for multinomial logistic regression. Also multivariate diagnostics like standard multiple regressions can be used to assess for multivariate outliers for the exclusion of outliers or influential cases. When you're saying that multivariate outliers, this is assessed using IBM SPSS with a process called as Mahalanobis. So using this process, you can identify the multivariate outliers and weed out the multivariate outliers. Then coming to the sample size guidelines for a multinomial logistic regression indicate a minimum of 10 cases per independent variable. So each independent variable should have a minimum of 10 cases. Then finally, multinomial logistic regression is often considered an attractive analysis because it does not assume normality, linearity or homoscedasticity. These three are not strict assumptions of multinomial logistic regression. Now I explain you this with a data which I borrowed from a textbook of Myers et al. So here our dependent variable is a group. So group is classified into three categories. So group is your dependent variable which has got three categories. One is a low functioning category. A student who is having a less or a low interpersonal relationship or a low self-esteem is categorized into low functioning group. And a student who is disorganized in a personal and academics is categorized into disorganized. And a student who is a high functioning, that is a high self-esteem, interpersonal skills and very organized in academic and personal life, is categorized into high functioning. So these are the three different categories under the group. That is, a group is a student. Next is a parent criticism. So this is measured on a scale. Here parents criticism is whenever a student makes any mistake or any activity, what is the level of a parent criticism. So this is measured on a scale of 1 to 5. Right, and suppressive coping behavior of any student. This is a self-assessment which is again measured on a scale of 1 to 5. And finally, binary confidence. So here a confidence, we categorize this into two, that is high confidence and low confidence. 0 is for high confidence and 1 is for a low confidence. So these three are your independent variables: parent criticism, suppressive coping and binary confidence. So among these three, two are measured on a scale, and there is a scale in terms of continuous scale or interval scale. Whereas in case of a binary confidence, it is measured on a nominal scale, because nominal and a dictomous. It has only two options. One is high confidence and low confidence. And our grouping variable is low functioning. So this meets our criteria to run a multinomial logistic regression. Now to run a multinomial logistic regression, from a menu command, click on analyze, then choose regression. In a regression, select multinomial logistic regression. And here choose your dependent variable, that is a group. Send this to dependent variable category. And here you have a reference category here. So we want to reference it with the high functioning. That is the reason why last category has been chosen. But if you want to go for low functioning, then go for a first category. But we go with last category. Click continue. Then here in a factors, your nominal or categorical variables are sent into factors. So here we have a one categorical variable, that is a binary confidence. Send these two factors. Then parent criticism, which are measured on a continuous scale, send this to covariate, and also suppressive coping, send this to covariate. Model, you don't need to worry about. By default is a main effects model. Click on continue. Then statistics. By default pseudo R square is there, step summary is there, model fitting information is there. In addition to that, also select classification table and goodness of fit table. Then the parameters, estimates are there, likelihood ratios, keep them intact. Then click continue push button. Now go to criteria. So here criteria is maximum iterations, likelihood. So all this keep intact by as default values. Click continue. Then you have options. So your probability value you can change, and entry test you can change if you wish, but we go with the probability of a 5, that is 95% confidence interval level, and click continue. Then click OK. So here is the output, which is presented in an output document. So here you have a case process. So group, low functioning, disorganized and high functioning. Number of observations are here, and marginal percentage. So you have a high functioning is 216 respondents. Then the binary confidence, high confidence 208 and low confidence 206, more or less both are equal. Then coming to model fit information, here you have a -2 log likelihood, intercept value and a final value. You pay attention to the final value. This is the likelihood value is 605, chi-square value is 116, which is high, and degrees of freedom is 6, and significance value is 0.0. So this is a significantly, the model can explain significant, that is the predictor variables can significantly impact the dependent variable. Then your goodness of fit statistics, Pearson goodness of fit statistics is 0.5 and deviation is 0.51. So the model is fit. then pseudo R square. Among these three, go to Nagel-Kirke model, which is 0.28, which tells us that 0.28 is a 28%, that is the coefficient of determination or R square value, which says that the independent variables will be able to explain 28% of variance in your dependent variable. That is, student group, whether it is a low functioning or disorganized or high functioning, can be explained with our two independent continuous variables, one dependent variable, and the 21.8% of the variance can be explained with these independent variables. And here you have a likelihood ratios. All right. So in case of likelihood ratios, here what is that we see is effect. If a particular variable is removed from the model, then what is its impact? So your parent criticism is removed, mean then your log likelihood ratio is 615 and chi-square value is 9.38 and 2 degrees of freedom, because only two other variables will remain in the model. So this is also statistically significant. So if you remove suppressive coping, then your log likelihood ratio is 657, chi-square value is also high, and the significance value is 0.00. So if you remove suppressive coping from the model, your likelihood ratio and the chi-square values are increasing. And here is the parameter estimates, or we can say that equation. So your regression equation is that constant value -4, then parent criticism is 0.4, then suppressive coping is 1.19, and the confidence, binary confidence negative is 0.6. All right. And if you look at the significance values, all these are statistically significant at a 5% level. So we can confidently say that when comparing with the lower functioning and high functioning, all these independent variables have impact. Now look at this expression of a V. This gives you a odds ratio, in the sense, let us say your parent criticism is there. So there is if 1% or 1 value is there in parent criticism, then it is going to impact 1.54 of low functioning. So if parents are more criticism, then comparing with the hyper functioning, the low functioning ratio is 1.5. Similarly, suppressive coping, with every 1 degree of suppressive coping, it is going to have a 3.29. That is, the odds of lower functioning is going to be higher, that is a 3 times higher when suppressive coping is there. Then similarly, you have a relationship between disorganized and high functioning. In case of a disorganized and high functioning, say suppose suppressive coping is here. If one suppressive coping mean, then comparing with the disorganized and high functioning, this is a twice. So if suppressive coping behavior is there, then the odds are twice more than the high functioning. So parent criticism, the odds are high. In the sense, if the parents are criticism and there is a suppressive coping behavior, when comparing with high functioning, the disorganized behavior of a students will be going to very high of a one time here and a twice here. So here we have a classification on and organization and predicted. So these values, in the sense your lower functioning and high functioning and organized, these are predicted values, and observed values, as we said that our chi-square values here, Pearson chi-square value and a goodness of fit test statistically says that there is no significant difference in the predicted and observed values in the model, and the model is statistically significant. And another one is that the 3 independent variables are going to explain 28% of a variance in a dependent variable, that is a student functioning group. So this is how you need to run the multinomial logistic regression in IBM SPSS and interpret the output. Thank you for listening to the lecture.